Welcome back to Sports Please. Sitting next to me, head coach of the women's basketball team, Marcie Alberts. Hey Marcie, thank you for coming on the show. Once again, I'd like to congratulate you on making it to the WHEI tournament. How does it feel to make it to the tournament?
Well, thanks for having me. This is quite an honor, and it's a great feeling. We got that huge win at John Carroll last Wednesday, scoring it at the buzzer.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think I've felt that jubilation in probably 3 or 4 years, maybe since we won the district when I was coaching in high school. So quite a feeling, and we knew winning that game that we were probably getting in the tournament. And then to go on Saturday down to Muskie on a long road trip and get another W. And it's the first time since I've been here that we've had 2 wins in a row. So I told our kids afterwards that we're streaking, and it feels pretty good. So we're going into the tournament with a high, and hopefully we can keep it going.
Now, I couldn't look this up. Do you know the last time Heidelberg women's basketball team made it to the WHEI tournament?
It was a couple years ago. I know for our seniors, I believe they made it as sophomores.
Okay.
But lost in the first round to B-Dub. So we've talked a lot about, don't just be satisfied and happy with getting there.
Exactly.
We want to make some noise. And I was doing some research before I came over here, and results since 1985, no number 8 seed has ever defeated the number 1 seed.
It's a great opportunity.
Exactly. That's what we're going to sell to our kids. They got an opportunity to do something that hasn't been done in at least 25 years, if not longer.
Well, that's awesome. I'm really excited. It's
Yeah.
great for the school. I mean,
Definitely.
I bet it's great for the team. You came to Heidelberg 2 years ago from Orville High School, where you had a really impressive 117-45 record. And you garnered Coach of the Year honors in 04. Success has been a little bit slower here at Heidelberg. What can you tell me about the coaching transition from high school to college?
And it is a difference. I think probably the biggest difference would be the shot clock.
Oh.
Getting to play with the shot clock, you got 30 seconds to get a look. You got 30 seconds to play defense. In high school, you can hold the ball for 8 minutes if you feel like it for an entire quarter, and I've seen teams do that. I was never that way as a coach, but that is something teams can do. So, as a coach, that's probably the biggest adjustment. The pace of the game, much faster. For me, that's not as big a deal, but our freshmen that we bring in, that's something as coaches that we have to work with, get them used to that, especially kids that you want to come in and play right away. They have to get used to that from the beginning. And those are probably the 2 biggest things. I mean, I think coaching basketball is coaching basketball. At any level, you've got to do this. You've got to score more points than your opponents.
Yep.
You've got to be able to get stops when you need them. Just at the college level, all the players play basketball for a reason. High school, sometimes you have a volleyball kid playing basketball. So here I've loved that part of it, is they're all basketball kids. They all want to be out there all the time, and they're willing to give you that 100% commitment. So that's what I've probably enjoyed the most with them.
Well, great. And it's also probably good to see them grow up as a freshman and into a senior. Now, I also read that you were a 4-year letter at the Ohio State, and you won all Big Ten honorable mention your senior year, along with being the team captain. With all that playing experience, how has the transition been from being a player to a coach?
I think if you ask anybody, I'm probably the most competitive person out there, whether I'm playing cards or coaching a game, and that's probably the biggest thing I had to adjust to. As a player, you can be a lot more emotional. You can do things on the floor that allow you to take even aggression out, take out frustration. As a coach, you can't do that. You've got to stay cool under the pressure, not just so you don't get a technical, but also for your players' sake, because you need to keep them calm. Allow them to be the emotional ones, and then the coaches have to be even keel pretty much the whole game. And that's been an adjustment for me, because I am very emotional. I mean, I get into it, very enthusiastic about it. We beat John Carroll. I mean, I was on the floor, and our kids are still on the sidelines. So that's still an adjustment process that I'm going through. But, I think just carrying it over from enthusiasm as a player to a coach can help you in so many different ways.
And that's what I've noticed from a great coach. They're always under composure. They're never showing their emotions like Tony Dungy's or in all sports. I mean, you are the emotional leader, and it reflects to your players.
Definitely, 100%.
I also forgot to mention that you had a 1-year stint with the WNBA Cleveland Rockers. Can you tell me a little bit about that experience?
Oh, it was probably one of the best experiences athletics-wise that I've been through. I mean, obviously playing at Ohio State was a pretty sweet deal, and I got to meet a lot of people, go to a lot of different places. But I mean, I'm a huge sports fan. I watch the NBA all the time. I watch college basketball all the time. You know, I watch the professionals play. And to be able to say that I was able to play in the same gym that Kobe Bryant plays in, that Patrick Ewing played in, you know, and I got to go to all those places and, you know, stayed in these hotels that I'll never ever be able to afford in my entire life. So, I mean, from an experience point of it, I couldn't ask for anything else. It was unbelievable. I got to meet so many different people, and something I'll be able to continue to tell my kids about. I have 2 little girls at home, so, you know, this is something I want them to shoot for someday. You know, I know the Rockers don't exist anymore, but I think the WNBA is here to stay, and women's basketball is on the rise, and I would love my kids to try and follow in those footsteps.
And you can see that it's on the rise. Watching it's way more competitive. I mean, the girls are making plays the guys can make now. It's definitely getting a lot more competitive and exciting.
Right.
Now, what position did you play?
Well, I like to tell people I played center, but, you know, being 5'4", that didn't work. I was a point guard. Played point guard my whole life, and, you know, they tried to get me to the 2 some because I was a good shooter, but I feel like I'm a born leader. You know, that's what I carry over into the coaching ranks as well, and I think as a point guard, you're the coach on the floor. And, you know, that's how I've been, goodness, since grade school, as far back as I can remember. And my dad's a coach, so, I mean, it's kind of in my blood, and point guard is a natural position for it. Now
you're saying you're liking to be a leader, like be the general on the floor. With that, what would you say is like your best skill is?
I'm not bragging, but I am a good shooter. That was, I mean, I set some records down at Ohio State with threes made and all that, but I think handling the ball, getting it to the right people, and again, being that coach on the floor. Ball handling, that's my favorite part of basketball. Watching people come down and make a no-look pass, watching people go behind the back and, you know, nail somebody for a nice layup. I would much rather do that over getting a bucket. Now, with that being said, do I like to shoot? Well, yeah. I think everybody does if they're playing basketball, but I mean, I played with Katie Smith for 3 years. She set every record in the Big Ten. She plays in the WNBA. She's a gold medalist. So, I mean, I had a good player to throw the ball to. And, you know, if that's how we were going to win the game, that's what I wanted to do, whatever it took for us to win. So I would say ball handling is probably my biggest strength.
Well, great. Getting back to your girls now a little bit, is there any player on this year's squad that reminds you a little bit of you back when you were balling?
Well, I tell Barker this all the time. Stacey Barker's our little point guard, and you know, she has that competitive drive that I have. She's got that little bit of cockiness that I have, and I think you have to have that if you're going to be a good player. And I like to relate to my point guards. I think that's when you're looking at it, the most important position on the floor. It's just like in football. If you have a good quarterback, you're going to be able to do some things. If you got a good point guard, you're going to be successful. And you know, I tell Stacey that a lot, and she is our coach on the floor. That's who I relate to, you know, when we're trying to get things done. And, you know, if there's anybody I compare myself to, it would definitely be her. And she shoots them from 25 feet like I used to, and that's pretty sweet.
Now, moving forward, I know you're stuck in game mode preparing for Capital coming up. But what does the future hold for Heidelberg basketball? Because I know you have goals, and I know you want things you want to accomplish. What would you say are the future goals for Heidelberg?
Well, let me start by saying we're going to miss these 4 seniors. We got 4 great kids, and, you know, I wish I had the opportunity to coach them a couple more years and have them for their full 4 years. With that being said, you know, we're in the process right now of trying to find kids that we can bring in to replace them a little bit. It's going to be very difficult because all 4 of them start. We have a solid group here coming back that can help with that process, and then the freshmen that we bring in. But, I mean, our long-term goals, and I've told our kids from the beginning, is to win the conference championship, get to the NCAA tournament. And, you know, based on our record this year, it doesn't mean anything now because we're 0-0, getting ready to start the conference tournament. Anything can happen. We can accomplish that goal this year. With the group we have, they can win any game, any night. Just depends on which of our teams is going to show. So with that being said, I'm hoping that how we finish this year will help catapult us into a solid beginning next year and then go smooth sailing from there.
Well, great, Coach Alberts. I mean, I think if there's one coach, I think you're definitely the person to lead them.
Thank you.